Today, the moon is in Gemini. Gemini is an air sign, so our mood of the day today is focused on thinking, processing information, maybe a little bit of conversation and dialogue. Gemini is really good for thinking out loud, processing with a friend, maybe doing a little bit of journaling, and the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, is in today a triple conjunction with Saturn and Mars, as I spoke about in yesterday's video. So that Mercury in Aries energy conjunct Mars is bringing up the intense feelings, the anger, the warrior spirit, the life force energy, the need to take action and move things in a direction that is what you want. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro vibe for Monday, April 20th. So with this Gemini moon energy, we have an opportunity again to process our thinking, process our feelings through talking things through or writing them out. So great time to just get clear about what you're thinking, how you're feeling, putting it into words, getting kind of straightening yourself out. We also have really interestingly, with that Mercury energy conjunct Mars. So Mercury being the voice, it is how we speak, what we need to say, how we process information and our own thinking in that so instantaneous, direct, spontaneous energy of Aries. So things flying out of our mouths, the truth needing to be spoken, that feeling that I can't hold back, the fire rising up inside of us to say what we feel like we need to say, and seeing that in conversations in the collective. So if you're on social media, you might be seeing it in the way that people are posting, especially about some of these themes that are coming up around the energy of assault and abuse, and how we're all collectively processing that. And so what's interesting to me is that right now we have Venus in Taurus, we have Mars in Aries. So this is, if you think about masculine and feminine, and this is kind of deep because masculine and feminine energies in terms of Mars and Venus exist within all of us. So really, totally regardless of your gender, we all have these energies inside of us. And so Mars is, and masculine and feminine are really kind of misnomers, because really what we're talking about is things that are traditionally associated with masculine and feminine, but by no means are these energies necessarily tied to being a man or a woman or any particular gender, or even what we think of as masculine and feminine, because those associations are really what society, what we kind of decide as a society, or what we agree to or what we don't agree to even, that those gender norms. So anyway, with that disclaimer, we are looking at Mars in its own sign of Aries and Venus in its own sign of Taurus. And so if you think about, so what we are calling masculine with that energy of Mars, the energy of action, defending, protecting, also the energy of taking action regardless of what someone else thinks or cares about. So that aggressive energy, the energy of bullying, the energy that of attack and assault, those are connected to Mars energies. And again, these are general things that exist within all of us. So it's really, we all have part of us that has energy, that feels the need to take action, the drive, the fire within us, the anger, the uh, the human capacity to sort of lose our temper, and in, small ways and big. So that's coming up in all of us at the same time as Venus in Taurus is saying, but what about the feminine power? What about the power of Taurus and Earth and the senses and how we care for one another and how we want to be receiving the gifts of life and Earth? And Taurus is an earth sign. So it's about how we make things happen in the physical world. And so we have at the same time this results oriented energy of Taurus and Venus. Venus is our capacity to receive. So if Mars is action, aggressiveness, assertiveness, right? Both positive and negative versions of that. Venus is receptive. It experiences beauty. It experiences and shares love. And so the love is the piece that is also coming in really, really strongly here. So we have the anger, or whatever you want to call it, courage, life force energy, fire, drive, will, the energy of emergence, the energy of force, the energy of new beginnings with Mars in Aries coming through at the same time as this quote unquote feminine, which we all have inside of us, thinking in terms of what we want to create in the physical world, how we share love, how we receive, how we share and exchange with another person in relationship. So creating more loving spaces, creating results that are based in love. And what does that look like? So at the same time, we have the Aries Mars energy, which is activated by Mercury and Saturn. And, Saturn, of course, like I was saying yesterday, is about limitations. It's about responsibility. So where is our responsibility for our actions of the past, for example? And where is our responsibility in the present moment? And how can we use our warrior courage to create results in the physical world that take shape and make things that work better? So what does that look like? How do we bring more love into our experience, into our relationships, into how we love ourselves even? And looking at how anger turned within can harm us. So what does it look like to heal that? All of these kinds of questions are coming up, like in big ways, intense ways, with this Aries activation we are moving through. And today we are on the second half of the triple conjunction that I talked about yesterday. So today is the exact Mercury Mars conjunction. And we're just out of the Mercury Saturn conjunction and yesterday's Mars Saturn conjunction. So all of these things bringing stuff to the surface, bringing that deeper truth and that knowledge and awareness to the surface where we have to process it, and the buried anger and feelings and hurt and suffering and all of that also needs to come to the surface. So processing that to align with our ability to build things that are more loving, to create results that bring healing, to bring justice, and to really watch ourselves, and I would say our tendency to, just want revenge, right? And to try to remember that Mars really is about strategy. And so what are your objectives? Where do you want things to end up? And what steps can you take to align yourself with creating that in the long run. And so, yes, feel your feelings, have your anger, process what is coming up for you. It's really intense for a lot of people. So take care of yourself, and maybe putting things into words with today's Gemini moon can help you do that processing. Just really quick, too, remember that all of this is coming back to Pluto in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus at the final degree of Taurus. So big shifts, earthquakes, massive transformation happening here. So how we move through this energy matters. Again, stay true to what matters most to you, your objectives, what is important. Don't get caught up in the swirling drama of the moment, and think long term. Think about what you want to create and how you can best align with what that looks like for you. But self-care first. All right. Thank you for being here. I'm Marina Orms. You can find more of my content at transformationalastrology.com. Thank you so much for being here and hitting the subscribe button. I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.